Every action plants a seed. Every choice you make is a seed in the ground of your life. You can't expect greatness from laziness. Every time you decide to stay in bed when you should be moving, every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you settle instead of striving, you're planting a seed. The soil of your life is always collecting what you put in it. It never stops. It never rests. You can't pause the process. The truth is, your future is already growing beneath the surface, built from the habits you've created, the thoughts you've fed, and the effort you've refused or embraced. You are living in a garden of your own choices, and whether that garden is thriving or dying depends on what you've been sowing every single day. You think skipping one day doesn't matter, that taking one break won't hurt, but those small moments compound. They grow into something bigger than you realize. One lazy day plants the seed of weakness. One excuse plants the seed of regret. One moment of hesitation plants the seed of self-doubt. And when enough of those seeds take root, you wake up one day surrounded by the consequences of your own comfort. You can't harvest discipline if all you've been planting is distraction. You can't harvest strength if all you've been sowing is avoidance. Life is brutally honest like that. It gives you exactly what you've earned, not what you've wished for. Every action has weight. Every decision carries energy. You are either planting seeds of growth or seeds of decay. You might not see it today. You might not feel it tomorrow, but the results will come. The soil never forgets. The body never forgets. The mind never forgets. The pain you avoid today will grow into suffering tomorrow. The effort you give today will grow into strength tomorrow. That's how it works. The process is invisible at first, and that's why so many people quit. They plant once, they water once, they wait a week, and when they don't see results, they stop. They dig up their own progress before it ever had a chance to sprout. But those who understand the grind know that greatness doesn't bloom overnight. The harvest belongs to the ones who show up every day, no matter how long it takes, no matter how dry the soil feels, no matter how far the finish line looks. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every moment you choose to fight instead of fold, it's another seed going into the ground. It's invisible work. But invisible work builds undeniable results. The soil rewards consistency, not bursts of effort. It rewards those who stay when others walk away. You have to understand that nothing you do is wasted. Every disciplined act is a deposit into your future. Every decision to keep going when you want to quit is a message to the universe that you're serious about your goals. You can't expect to reap confidence from seeds of hesitation. You can't expect success from seeds of fear. You can't live like a coward and expect the life of a warrior. What you plant is what you grow. What you water is what thrives. You can either plant excuses or execution. You can either feed your future or starve it with your comfort. Most people spend their lives wondering why nothing changes, why they never rise, why everything feels stuck. It's because they never plant the right seeds. They plant shortcuts, they plant lies, they plant comfort and call it happiness. But the truth is, the soil doesn't lie. You can't talk your way into a harvest. You can't fake results. You either put in the work or you don't. And the harvest will always reveal which one you chose. You are the farmer of your own destiny. Every thought you think, every step you take, every action you repeat, it's all planting. You decide whether your field grows strength or weakness, confidence or fear, power or regret. The ground doesn't judge you. It simply returns what you've given it. If you plant discipline, you'll grow dominance. If you plant laziness, you'll grow loss. There's no mystery to it, no luck, no secret formula. Just seeds and soil, effort and time, pain and persistence. That's the truth of the grind, and it never changes, Abra. Pain is the soil of growth. The harder the struggle, the deeper the roots. You can't reap strength without planting discipline. Pain is the price you pay for progress. It's the tax life charges for greatness. Every moment you suffer, every time you get hit and still choose to stand, you're building something that can't be seen but can never be destroyed. Most people run from pain because they don't understand it. They think it's punishment, but it's actually preparation. Pain is shaping you, forging you, testing you. It's tearing down what's weak to make room for what's strong. When you push through the agony, you're not breaking, you're building. The pain is sculpting the version of you that can handle what the easy path never could. Every struggle is a seed, and the soil that grows strength is soaked in discomfort. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when things hurt. Every tear, every failure, every moment of frustration is nourishment for your roots. The deeper the struggle, the stronger your foundation becomes. People want strength, but they don't want to suffer. They want confidence, but they don't want to face fear. They want victory, but they don't want war. You can't have one without the other. Pain is not the enemy. It's the process. It's the grind that forces you to earn what you say you want. When you step into pain, you're stepping into growth. The soreness in your body, the fatigue in your mind, the pressure in your chest, those are signs that you're expanding. That's the soil cracking open to let something new take root. The comfort zone is where dreams die because nothing grows there. The soil is too shallow, but pain digs deeper. It breaks through layers of weakness you didn't even know existed. It pushes you to go further than you thought you could, to hold on longer than you believed possible, to rise when everything inside you screams to fall. Discipline is the seed that thrives in that soil. You can't plant half-hearted effort and expect full results. You can't show up once in a while and call it dedication. Discipline is consistency under fire. It's doing what needs to be done, even when every cell in your body wants to quit. The ones who grow are the ones who endure the storm, who keep planting effort in the middle of the pain. That's where the transformation happens. Not when it's easy, not when it's comfortable, but when you keep grinding through the agony that most people avoid. Pain has a language of its own. It doesn't care about your excuses, your feelings, or your plans. It only respects effort. It asks one question: how bad do you want it? And every rep, every long night, every lonely morning you show up and push through, that's your answer. You want to be strong? Then bleed for it, sweat for it, earn it. Because pain doesn't give trophies to those who wish, it gives growth to those who work. Every scar on your body, every ache in your soul is proof that you planted something real. You went through the dirt and you didn't quit. The soil of pain is where your real self is born. When you're in that place where you feel like you can't go any further, that's when you're closest to breaking through. You have to understand that the suffering is not a sign to stop. It's a signal to continue. It's proof that you're in the zone of transformation. The body screams, the mind panics, the comfort calls. But beyond that noise lies growth. The deeper you go into the pain, the stronger your roots grow beneath the surface. You become unshakable. You become grounded in discipline, hardened by repetition and strengthened by struggle. The truth is, you can't escape pain, but you can choose its purpose. You can suffer from stagnation or you can suffer from growth. One destroys you slowly, the other builds you completely. Pain is not meant to break you. It's meant to teach you. Every time you push through it, you discover a new version of yourself. One that's tougher, sharper, more resilient. You start to realize that pain isn't punishment. It's potential. It's the soil where strength grows, the furnace where weakness burns away, the place where warriors are born. And if you can learn to plant discipline there, to stay when it hurts, to keep pushing when the world says stop, then there's no storm, no obstacle, no challenge that can ever uproot you. You can't cheat the harvest. You can lie to others, but you can't lie to results. The truth shows up in what you've earned. You can talk all day about how hard you work. You can post quotes. You can tell people you're grinding. But when it's time to collect, the truth is exposed. The harvest doesn't listen to words. It listens to effort. You can't fake consistency. You can't fake discipline. The field knows how much you gave and how much you held back. It remembers the mornings you skipped, the excuses you fed yourself, the corners you cut. The harvest is honest, brutally honest. And when the season comes, it gives you exactly what you've earned. No more, no less. You can pretend to others, but you can't hide from your own reflection. You know if you've been given everything or just enough to look busy. You know if you've been training for real or performing for validation. The results are the mirror that never lies. The body tells the truth. The mind tells the truth. The life you're living right now is proof of the seeds you've planted and the effort you've watered them with. If you've been half committed, your results will be half built. If you've been giving fragments of focus, your growth will show cracks. People love to talk about success as if it's luck, as if it's random. But the ones who reap abundance are the ones who did the work when no one cared, who stayed focused when everyone else was distracted, who chose pain over pleasure and work over wishes. The harvest doesn't come to the loudest person. It comes to the most disciplined one. You can't talk your way to greatness. You can't bluff your way to mastery. The harvest is earned in silence and revealed in time. Every minute you waste, every promise you break, every shortcut you take, all of it comes back in the form of results that don't lie. The truth about the harvest is that it exposes everything. It exposes the lazy. It exposes the faker. It exposes the one who only works when they're seen. You can fool the crowd, but the grind keeps receipts. The weight room remembers how much you lifted. The road remembers how many miles you ran. The work remembers who showed up and who didn't. When the time comes to collect, you can't negotiate with results. You can't beg the soil to grow what you never planted. You can't cry about what you didn't water. The truth always comes due, and the harvest is nothing more than your past decisions in visible form. If you want more, you have to earn more. If you want growth, you have to commit to the grind. There's no backdoor, no shortcut, no trick that replaces effort. The grind has no sympathy for excuses, no patience for pretenders. It rewards the obsessed and exposes the complacent. The ones who cheat the process never last because their roots are shallow. They plant for appearance, not for endurance. But the ones who respect the process, who embrace the pain, who give everything even when no one's watching, those are the ones whose harvest never fades. Every time you cut corners, you cut your own future. Every time you lie about your effort, you delay your progress. You can convince others you're doing the work, but you can't convince the results. The truth shows up when the lights come on, when the test begins, when life demands proof of your preparation. That's when the truth hits you. The harvest only gives back what you've truly earned. If you planted distraction, you'll reap regret. If you planted doubt, you'll harvest fear. But if you planted discipline, sacrifice, and relentless consistency, you'll reap strength that no one can take from you. The harvest is the most honest judge in the world. It doesn't care about your excuses, your stories, or your intentions. It only recognizes your actions. It only responds to what you did, not what you said. You can tell the world you're grinding, but when it's time to collect, the field exposes your truth. It shows who trained when it rained, who worked when they were tired, who stayed when others walked away. The harvest doesn't lie. It reflects you, the real you, the one built by your choices, your effort, and your consistency. And when you finally stand in that field, surrounded by the results of your work, you'll know exactly what you planted, because the harvest never cheats, never forgets, and never lies. Consistency builds the field. One good day doesn't grow a forest. It's the grind, the repetition, the daily effort that builds your harvest. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to show up every single day for it. They want greatness to come fast. They want change to come easy. But the truth is, real growth is slow. It's invisible at first. It's built one day at a time, one rep at a time, one choice at a time. You don't transform your life in a moment of motivation. You do it in the dull, repetitive, lonely hours when no one is watching. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's about showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it hurts, and still doing the work because you know the field only grows through repetition. You can't plant one seed and expect a forest. You can't train hard for 1 week and expect mastery. You can't grind for 1 month and expect your life to change. The field doesn't respond to intensity. It responds to consistency. It's the daily watering, the constant care, the small actions stacked together that build something unstoppable. Every day you show up, you're adding another layer to your foundation. Every time you repeat the process, you're strengthening your roots. One day doesn't define you, but the sum of your days does. It's not the big moments that shape your future. It's the hundreds of small ones where you either choose discipline or drift into weakness. The ones who win aren't the most talented. They're the most consistent. They do the work even when they don't feel like it. They don't wait for motivation. They create momentum through repetition. They understand that greatness doesn't happen in bursts. It happens in patterns. Every sunrise is another opportunity to prove to yourself that you mean what you say, that you're not just dreaming, you're doing. And the beauty of consistency is that it compounds. One day of effort might not change much, but 100 days of effort makes you unrecognizable. The grind adds up. The repetitions build strength that shortcuts can't touch. Consistency is what separates the talkers from the doers, the wishers from the winners. You can't fake it. You can't show up once and claim commitment. The field knows who worked for it and who didn't. It remembers every hour you gave, every day you stayed disciplined, every moment you refused to quit. The harvest doesn't come to the one who tried hard once. It comes to the one who refused to stop trying. The grind rewards persistence. The ones who keep going, even when progress feels invisible, are the ones who wake up one day surrounded by results that others call impossible. There will be days when you don't see any growth. You'll look around and feel like all your work is for nothing. But that's when consistency matters most. Because just like roots growing underground, the progress you can't see is the most important kind. The repetition is building strength beneath the surface. It's making you tougher, sharper, more disciplined. You can't see the field growing, but it's happening every time you show up. That's why quitting is so dangerous. It stops the process right before the breakthrough. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's repetition. And repetition is hard. It's waking up early every day. It's saying no to distractions. It's pushing through fatigue. It's choosing the grind when you'd rather rest. But it's also what turns ordinary people into unstoppable ones. Every great thing you've ever admired was built on boring consistency. The athlete, the soldier, the artist, the entrepreneur, they all built their field by showing up every single day, long after motivation faded. They didn't chase perfection. They chased progress, and progress came through repetition. The truth is, consistency builds confidence. Every day you show up, you remind yourself that you're reliable, that your word means something. You stop depending on motivation because you've replaced it with habit. You stop doubting your path because your actions prove your belief. Consistency is power because it makes success inevitable. You can't control when the harvest comes, but you can control how often you plant, how much effort you give, and how long you stay in the field. And the longer you stay, the stronger you become, until one day the results rise from the ground and everyone calls it sudden success, not realizing it was built from years of relentless consistency that never quit. Eber, you reap what you feed. Feed your mind excuses, you'll grow weakness. Feed it discipline, you'll grow power. The mind is a field, and every thought you plant takes root. Every time you tell yourself you can't, you're watering doubt. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you're feeding the weakness that's been holding you back. The mind grows what you give it. It doesn't care if it's poison or power, it just grows. So if you constantly feed it negativity, if you feed it fear, if you feed it the belief that you're not enough, don't be surprised when your life starts to reflect that. You can't feed yourself excuses every day and expect to harvest confidence. You can't feed yourself comfort and expect to reap strength. Your mind becomes the sum of your choices. Every thought you repeat, every belief you hold, every story you tell yourself, it all becomes the foundation of your reality. If your internal dialogue is filled with limits, your actions will follow those limits. You can't act stronger than you think. You can't live higher than your mindset. The body moves where the mind leads. And if your mind is fed with weakness, your body will fold under pressure. That's why the fight always begins inside. You have to train your thoughts like a warrior trains for battle. You have to starve the voice that says, I can't, and feed the one that says, try again. Every excuse you make is a seed of weakness. Every time you justify giving up, you're feeding that part of you that wants to stay small. You're teaching your mind that failure is acceptable, that average is enough. And once that belief takes root, it spreads. It infects every part of your life, your goals, your relationships, your purpose. You start to settle without realizing it. You start to avoid the grind because you've trained yourself to believe it's too hard. That's how weakness grows, slowly, silently, through repetition of comfort. But the same law works in the other direction. Feed your mind discipline, and it becomes a fortress. Feed it with self-control, determination, and purpose, and it starts to produce strength. Every time you push through the pain, every time you silence excuses and take action, you're feeding your power. You're telling your mind who's in charge. You're building mental armor that can't be broken by failure or fear. The mind responds to what it's fed. Feed it consistency, and it learns endurance. Feed it struggle, and it learns resilience. Feed it doubt, and it becomes your enemy. Feed it courage, and it becomes your weapon. People underestimate the diet of the mind. They guard their bodies, but not their thoughts. They feed themselves trash all day, distractions, complaints, negativity, and then wonder why they feel weak. What you allow in shapes what you give out. You can't fill your mind with chaos and expect peace. You can't fill it with fear and expect confidence. You can't listen to voices that say you'll fail and expect to walk like someone who believes in victory. The mind mirrors its environment. That's why you must choose what you feed it with intention. Feed your mind challenge, feed it pressure, feed it discipline. Starve it of pity, starve it of excuses, starve it of the desire to quit. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the stronger your mental muscles grow. Every time you overcome resistance, you reinforce belief. Every time you follow through, you build credibility with yourself. That's how power is created, not from talking, but from doing. Power is grown from daily discipline. The mind remembers every time you stay true to your word, and that memory becomes your confidence. That's the harvest you're building every day through what you feed yourself. The truth is, the mind doesn't care what you feed it. It will grow whatever you plant. If you feed it weakness, weakness will grow easily. It's the default setting of the human mind, to take the easy route, to avoid pain, to seek safety. But if you want power, if you want strength, if you want control, you have to fight that instinct. You have to train your mind to crave the grind. You have to condition it to see pain as progress, to see struggle as growth. The more you feed your mind discipline, the more natural it becomes. Soon, the grind stops feeling like suffering. It starts feeling like purpose.